back to Inverted Adventures, and today you are looking at something that you will not see much of on this channel. And there's nothing against Traxxas, but I'm not a huge Traxxas fan. I ended up trading. I had my Kraton 6S that I ran one time after I got it. Decided I just didn't need that many bashers, and I want to get Arma's new Vendetta, so something had to leave because I'm out of shelf space. So I was planning to sell that, and somebody had offered me this. It's not the Sport, it's the actual Defender, 2-speed transmission, locking diffs, all that fancy stuff. It was a 6S Kraton and some extra parts and stuff like that. And the big reason that I traded for this, one, I'm kind of interested to try out the 2-speed and the locking. I haven't messed with any of that because I'm not a huge Traxxas fan. I personally think these are way overpriced for a crawler compared to what you can get out of like an Axial or the 2 Gen8s. For like half the price. I think they're just as capable. Now, obviously, they don't have the locking diffs and the 2-speed transmission, but do you really need that? So I'm probably going to make a video playing around with this. If anybody's watched, actually, I don't know if there's a video of it. There might not be a video. There's pictures on the Facebook page for the channel. My daughter has an Everest 10 from Redcat, and I have driven it in the creek up at the local lake, literally up to the roof of the truck. Like, just the sliver of the roof of the body is sticking out as it's moving upstream. So I kind of want to make a test series per se with my 2 different Gen 8s and possibly this, and then maybe a better video, if the video doesn't exist, of the Everest, and just kind of use it as a test course. So it'll probably stick around for a little while. Like I said, I want the Vendetta, but the Vendetta is also already back-ordered, clear past the pre-order, so who knows when it's going to be available. So I'm not in a huge rush to sell this, but the thing that made me get this is these right here, the Traxx. I've always thought they're cool. Again, just like the truck, $200 for a set of Traxx, to me, too expensive. I won't spend it. But the fact that I can probably get what I need to get out of this to get the Vendetta and keep the Traxx, that sounds appealing to me. So I'm going to mess around with this. But today's video, I am going to, and I probably could Google this, but I didn't. So I'm going to try it, and I'm going to make a video for it to give you proof. I want to see if these are going to fit on this, because that was the whole point. So if they fit, plan is take the Traxx off, keep them, mess around with them on my 2 Gen 8s or do whatever I want with them, sell the TRX4. I didn't want to spend $200 on Traxx, so if I can trade my Kraton and end up keeping them and still get my Vendetta by selling the TRX4, we're going to do that. So hang out, stick around, guys. I'm going to rip these off and see if they fit on here, and we'll see what happens. So check it out. So for starters, this Gen 8 has way too soft of foams in it. I use this as a Class 1 competition truck, and it's got to have 1.9s that are 4.19 or smaller on them, and that's what's on here. They're Mickey Thompson Baja MTZs. I really like them, but I just have the foams that came with them, and as you can see, literally just sitting on the ground here, it deforms the tires. So I need to get better foam. I need to get 2-stage foams for them, and I just haven't had that. So this gets stored on its lid. But first thing I'm going to do, yank the tires off of this. When you set them side by side, the wheelbase of both trucks is the same, so I'm hoping they'll fit the body the same. But we're going to take them off, and I don't know. I honestly don't know how they attach, other than hopefully to a 12mm hub. So we'll tear them off and find out, because like I said, I don't really mess with Traxxas stuff, so we'll see what happens. Alright, so I skipped a little bit of work here. I have on this, not only are they the Mickey Thompson Baja super awesome tires, but they're on T-Real beadlocks, or T-Real, however you pronounce that. So I skipped the part where I had to take all 6 of these little bolts out on each of the wheels, and we're just going to zip these off real quick. Fancy 4-way. Big ones are suckier to use than the small ones. So, Shazam, you got your fancy portal axles there. Again, I have 2 of these Gen 8s. One was the Builder's Kit, and one is the V2 Scout. I absolutely love these things. I love the way they crawl. I love the way they perform. everything. I had the Gen 7 Pro. That was my first crawler for myself after I got my daughter the Everest. And it was cool. But then I bought this, and I had to sell it because this thing was nice and clean, and the paint looked good. And I decided that if I didn't get rid of my Gen 7, I would never drive this because I didn't want to get it dirty and all scratched up. So when I sold it, I either had to use this and scratch it up, or I couldn't go play. So here we are. We've got this disassembled. Now I'm going to get the TRX4, pull the Traxx off, and see if they switch over. Now, just for an example of the Class 1 tires versus the Class 2 tires, I'll be honest with you, I don't have a clue what kind of tires these are. These are what I got from the gentleman who had the TRX4. They look like rims that should go on it, so I don't know if these are from the TRX4, but they also have a little valve stem in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. So it looks like they're made to take air, but regardless, these are what are typically on them, and my other Scout has them, and I have 3 other sets of backup crawler tires for different environments. But these are the Class 1 tires, and this is all 4 tires versus Class 2, so that's just giving you guys a size comparison. Now, these weigh probably at least twice this because of these Terreal nice metal beadlocks that are on here. But difference in tire size. It makes a lot of difference when you're crawling. Alright, so here is this beast of a TRX4, and I'm going to guess right now before I take this off that this is going to be a pain in the butt to put on my Gen 8. The reason being is, whoops, that's not even going to work. This, do I have a tool that will fit in this hole? Huh. First I have to find a tool that will fit in that hole. Second, looking at the back of it, there's a shock absorber of some sort that goes onto the portal axle, and it looks like this is going to be all kinds of parts configuration to switch over. So I'm still going to take it apart and see if it's possible, but I'm starting to have my doubts. So I have figured out the secret. This is a 17mm nut that goes on the outside that lets you get down inside there. If I can still figure out the right size. Oh, that's because I grabbed the wrong one. This one. Too many tools. Okay, so that one's not going to fit, so I need the little one, which is right here. Squeaky chair. Okay, so hopefully, oh, or maybe not. Okay, so that pops off of there. Let's see how this is going to work. I don't really know how this is going to work. Okay, so I guess I could do it without the damper on there. Trusty Cornwell Tools toolkit. We're going to zip that out. I think if I zip this little shock absorber off, this track will be free. So that should come off, and there we go. Now, we have our first track. So what that does is that splines onto this right here, and then this shock absorber is for what? I'm not really sure. But I think now, if I can take this hub off, which is what I was starting to do, so we stick the right size in there. That was easier before I took it apart. That nut's off. Well, it looks like this might be able to go onto the Gen 8. So, did I not get it? Come on. I'm a mechanic. I can't even get the look. There we go. Alright, so that just fits over a 12mm hex, like so. So, I actually think this is going to work. I don't know about this damper part, but I think the Traxx themselves will be able to go onto the Gen 8. So, I am just going to do this one at a time and see if we can put this onto the Gen 8 and then pop the Traxx on. So stick around. So looking at the design of the portal axles on the Gen 8 versus the TRX4, these little bolts for the portals come in from the front on these, and they come in from the back on the TRX4. So that little, there's an adapter bracket that bolts into there and then has a bolt on the end, and that shock or damper or whatever that's going to be considered bolts in there. So those will not be able to go on here, but this will fit over my hubs, which they should. Yep, there we go. And then drop this in here and make this a pane. I'm going to run this down, snug her up, drag it on there so I can never get that hub back out of there. She's on there. Now this splines onto there, and then your nut, your big 17mm nut that was in the way of getting to your smaller nut. There we have it. So they do in fact, once I put wheels on everything else, that may be the issue. So this is on here. Oh no, you know what? I think that's just because I don't have anything on the other side. So there we go. We got one. So I am going to tear the other 4 of these off and swap them over to here, and we'll see what the end result is. So you guys stick around just a couple more seconds. I would record it and fast forward through it, but it would probably crash my video editing software to do so. So until that's fixed, you don't get to watch me in fast motion tear this all apart. So hold on a minute and we'll have this done. So we are officially halfway there, and as cool as this Scout is about to look, I have officially decided that you cannot, without probably a lot more modifications, put these Traxx on a Gen 8. Squish some bugs there. From Redcat. I, after a little more investigation, have found out that these little shock dampers, see if I can get this camera over here cleanly. So this plastic bracket and this shock is what keeps these from just swinging around. So as soon as you were to try and put some forward motion on here, it's just gonna throw these all over the place. So I don't believe that you can do that. So that is unfortunate, because I was really looking forward to taking these Traxx and just slapping them on the Scout and doing cool stuff. So I guess I'm gonna have to take these back apart, put them back on here, and then do some cool track videos with the TRX4 before I decide what happens. But for those of you that were curious, thanks for sticking around. Now you can, a lot of times I read stuff on the internet and I think, well, did they try hard enough, or did the paper just from Traxxas say, oh, you can't do that, and did anybody try it? Well, here's your proof. The Traxx from Traxxas do not just bolt on to a Gen 8. I would imagine, and I don't know if the hubs, these might be the same size. If you were to take the entire portal, let's see, would that work? No, because it's different on the back. I'm going to go ahead and say, without switching the whole axle over, you can't do it, because I don't see any way that this adapter will go on here. So, long, excruciating, probably 10-minute video now short. The answer to this question is no. The Traxxas Traxx do not fit on the Redcat Gen 8. So I'm kind of disappointed. It doesn't surprise me, because that's just how Traxxas is. Traxxas makes stuff, and they make it for their stuff, and you can't really do much with it unless you use their stuff. So that's just my opinion, to each their own. I don't think Traxxas is junk stuff. I just think they're overpriced, in my opinion. So there's that. But thanks for checking the video out, guys. For anybody who might be watching this who has also watched my DR10 drag car update, I don't know if I'm going to get a couple passes in. It's been raining and it's pretty much straight fall weather now, so it's supposed to be in the 60s next week, so there's hope for that. But anybody who's been watching or who watched that video and has been waiting for that, I apologize. So until then, sorry this video is so long and drawn out, but we have an answer now. The Traxx don't fit on the Gen 8, so thanks for stopping by, guys. Subscribe. We finally hit 50 subscribers. That's happened since the last video has been posted. We're at 56 or 57 now, so the next goal is 100, and then we'll go up from there. So thank you to all of you who subscribe and check out the videos, and anybody who will subscribe after watching this or any future videos. So thanks. If you guys have any comments or suggestions, or you know a secret that I do not know about getting these Traxx to work on the Gen 8, let me know, because I'd love to hear it. But other than that, until next time, thanks for stopping by. It's Richard from Inverted Adventures.